From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, June the 9th, 2017. The U.S. Justice Department announced the arrests of two men for allegedly planning to attack Israelis and Americans in the U.S. and in Panama. The department said yesterday that the two men, 32-year-old Ali Kourani of the Bronx and 37-year-old Samer El-Debek of Dearborn, Michigan, were arrested last week on charges related to their alleged activities on behalf of terror group Hezbollah. Acting U.S. Attorney June Kim said the two allegedly conducted missions in Panama to locate the U.S. and Israeli embassies there. And New York Police Commissioner James O'Neill said as part of his work for Hezbollah, Kourani and others allegedly conducted covert surveillance of potential targets, including U.S. military bases and Israeli military personnel here in New York City. O'Neill said the arrests were a tribute to the collaborative work of FBI agents and NYPD officers of the Joint Terrorism Task Force. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations Nikki Haley visited the Yad Vashem Holocaust Museum in Jerusalem today on her third and final day in Israel. Haley took part in a wreath-laying ceremony at the museum and wrote in the Yad Vashem guest book that we must always honor and remember the lives lost during one of the most horrible times in history. There is a lesson here, she wrote. Leadership is not about power. Leadership is the acknowledgement and value of human dignity. We must always choose a side. Earlier today, Haley met in Jerusalem with Israeli Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman, who asked for Haley's help on several matters, including the return of the remains of slain IDF soldiers Hadar Golden and Oron Shaul, who were killed in 2014 during Operation Protective Edge and whose bodies are being held by terror group Hamas in Gaza. Lieberman also noted three Israeli nationals, Avram Mengistu, Hisham al-Sayed, and Juma Abu Ghanima, who went missing in Gaza and are presumably also being held by Hamas. Meanwhile, the International Committee of the Red Cross urged Hamas to release the Israelis as well. The parents of IDF soldier Hadar Golden met this week with representatives of the ICRC to intervene on their son's behalf, as well as on behalf of the other Israelis held. And yesterday, the head of the ICRC's delegation in Israel, Jacques de Mayo, released a statement saying that missing persons, regardless of their status, fallen or captured soldiers during fighting, or civilians taken captive by an adverse party are protected by humanitarian law. He said they and their families must be shown due regard under the law. Also yesterday, World Jewish Congress CEO and Executive Vice President Robert Singer met in Geneva with ICRC President Peter Maurer to deliver a petition signed by 11,000 people on behalf of the Golden and Shaul families, asking the ICRC to press Hamas for the release of their remains. An abandoned train station in France that served as a deportation site and concentration camp during the Holocaust will now be turned into a memorial museum. Over 3,500 Jews, mainly from Poland and Czechoslovakia, were sent to the station at Pithiviers in May of 1941, where it served as an internment camp and is referred to as France's first concentration camp. And many Jews were deported from there to the death camps. The station has been unused for decades and is currently closed to the public, but last week, France 3 television reported that it would be transformed into a museum. German Chancellor Angela Merkel visited Argentina's oldest and largest synagogue during her visit to the country yesterday. Merkel inaugurated a newly restored German organ at the Templo Libertad synagogue in Buenos Aires and said the instrument symbolized a bridge between Argentina and Germany. She also praised Argentina for having received thousands of Jews fleeing the Nazis during the Holocaust, and said that in light of Germany's past, this is a reminder for us that we have to fight against anti-Semitism wherever it appears. The 2018 QS World University Rankings are out, and they include several Israeli institutions. Jerusalem's Hebrew University came in the highest place in Israel among the top 15% of universities in the world, at 145 of the 959 universities ranked in the report released yesterday. Tel Aviv University ranked at number 205, and the Technion in Haifa came in at 224. The top spots on the list went to American institutions MIT in first place, Stanford in second, and Harvard in third. The Covenant Foundation announced recipients of their annual awards for excellence in Jewish education this week. They are founding principal of SAR High School in Riverdale, New York, Rabbi Tully Harstark, National Director of Institutes and Training at Matan in New York, Meredith Englander-Polsky, and co-founder of Orot, the Center for New Jewish Learning in Skokie, Illinois, Dr. Jane Shapiro. Executive Director of the New York-based foundation, Harleen Appelman, said each of the 2017 Covenant Award recipients is a dreamer, and each brings with them a breath of optimism for the field. And taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Friday, June the 9th, live Shabbat services are coming up at 6 o'clock from New York City's Central Synagogue, followed by more special programming marking the 50th anniversary of the Six-Day War. At 7:30, it's a discussion with Thane Rosenbaum, Herb London, Emmanuel Aronson, and Bassam Eid. And then at 9, it's the film 6 Days in June. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 5:30, Rabbi Shlomo Riskin shares his thoughts on this week's Torah portion. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, June the 9th, 2017. I'm Teisha Bader. Shabbat Shalom.